As Southern California grapples with the aftermath of Hillary, we take you back right into the thick of it there. Our Wilson Walker found a spot that's about as well prepared as it could be and was still put to the test.
The place is built to move water, but was it going to work like they are accustomed to seeing?
Apparently it did. We'll take you to that lake that rose 4 feet overnight.
Hillary is now a post-tropical system, but we're still feeling the effects in the Bay Area. Significant level of mugginess in the atmosphere. We'll talk about when that's going to improve and when our rain chances are going to dwindle coming up in the First Alert forecast.
San Francisco's Archbishop makes good on his promise to declare bankruptcy. This as we learn of a new lawsuit against an elite Catholic school. And there's a new option for people struggling with student loan debt, but a lot of people in the Bay Area who try to cash in may be out of luck.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hello, we are certainly getting a clearer picture of the widespread damage in Southern California from the first tropical storm to hit the Golden State in 84 years. Hillary zigzagged around Southern California before making its way up north and then slowly losing strength. One of the worst hit areas, Palm Springs. Take a look at this drone video of the aftermath. Miles and miles of road covered in mud with crews trying to clear the mess, and power is still out in many areas. And then there's this video from Cathedral City. This is where crews had to get pretty creative. They used bulldozers to get to about a dozen people trapped by mud 3 to 5 feet high. Firefighters ended up putting them in a front loader and driving them to higher ground. Palm Springs only gets about 4 or 5 inches of rain in a year, and parts of Coachella Valley got anywhere from 2 to 6 just this weekend.
I'm digging the truck right now because we got stuck. We were trying to come through here, like we've seen the rest of the cars doing it, so we joined the line.
A number of drivers spent the day digging their vehicles out. And here is a look at that mud in action. This is video of a truck. It's practically racing a flow down a hill in San Bernardino County. The debris damaged at least 2 bridges.
We set up sandbags over the weekend thinking that would be sufficient, but it blew right through them. There's boulders in the backyard that I don't know how they got on that side of the garage, but there's boulders the size of a Volkswagen that are just sitting over there.
The mud also damaging homes. Firefighters are still working to get to some stranded residents. So we take you further up the mountain. Residents appeared to escape without damage. Our Wilson Walker rode out the storm near Lake Arrowhead and found a silver lining when it comes to water storage.
Oh, it's awesome up here. It's the best place to live in Southern California. You know, we're 20 degrees cooler than anywhere else.
At about 4,500 feet with steep wooded hillsides in every direction, the Arrowhead Treetop Lodge sits right on top of a confluence of small waterways.
From the 173 up here, we've got the storm drain that comes down here, comes into this here, comes into our stream here. We also have 3 other storm drains over here. Yeah,
so across the mountains, people like Bruce Cardwell spent the final hours ahead of the storm checking every possible trouble spot, unsure of what was coming.
Right, we made sure to clean all our drains and everything to make sure so we were prepared for it.
And as the evening settled in, so did the storm, picking up intensity as it pushed up against the mountains, bringing tremendous rain and intense winds.
The bulk of the weather really didn't get into the high country here until late on Sunday night. A lot of discussion about whether or not this would look like what they're used to seeing in this area. They do get a lot of rain here. The place is built to move water, but was it going to work like they are accustomed to seeing? Or would this storm prove to be something different? This was something out of the ordinary.
Never here. I've seen rain like that in other parts of the country. Never here. And so
Nathan Godwin is general manager of Lake Gregory, which jumped several feet in a matter of hours.
Just yesterday, we started yesterday about 1.5 feet up, and we're over 4 feet over now. So normally we drive around this edge of the lake here.
The edge of the lake is now littered with everything that came flowing down the hillsides overnight, but the storm drains did their job. There were no major problems, just some cleaning up to do after a night of very atypical weather.
All in all, for how much water we had, we fared pretty well.
The remnants of Hillary really just another weather story for folks up here. The grocery store for this community actually collapsed under the weight of tremendous snowfall back in March. So a remarkable year of weather punctuated by a tropical system when we are normally talking about the risk of fire danger.
Wilson, thank you. You know, remnants of Hillary also bringing some ominous clouds and rare summer rain to the Bay Area. You can see the raindrops on our chopper's camera as we flew over Oakland just today. So we're catching it all over, not as heavily as in Southern California, clearly. But Paul Hagan's here to fill us in.
Yeah, still the lingering feel in the atmosphere from the moisture associated with Hillary. It just is muggy out there this evening. Let's take a look at the big picture perspective here. And we have the remnants of Hillary that continue to get swept to the north, getting caught up in the big picture flow of weather across the entire northern hemisphere. We also have the swirl in the clouds. That's actually the remnants of a different tropical system, Eugene. That's been hanging out off the coast for the past couple of weeks. So we have that tapping into the moisture from Hillary and giving us some scattered showers today. Not nearly as much rain as I saw in Southern California. There are those ominous clouds. Again, much more ominous looking than they're behaving right now. We don't have anything on the first alert Doppler at the moment. So almost 5 inches of rain in Beverly Hills. Palm Springs got 3 1/4 inches of rain, almost 3 inches of rain for Los Angeles, and just short of 2 inches of rain in San Diego. Some of the locally higher amounts from Southern California, almost a foot of rain in the mountains outside of Palm Springs. Way too much in a short amount of time. Well, Mount Wilson, almost 8.5 inches of rain. And we're talking about amounts that added up to several months worth of rainfall, if not more than a year's worth of rainfall, just in the course of about 36 hours, over 2 1/4 inches of rain for Death Valley. Around the Bay Area, we had those scattered showers earlier, but the radar has been quiet for the past few hours. There's another band of rain over the Pacific. It's likely to fall apart as it tries to move closer to us. Most of the shower and thunderstorm activity has been concentrated in the Central Valley and then eventually into the foothills and into the Sierra. There's still an outside chance of a couple of pop-up showers tomorrow, but the humidity levels should be gradually dropping. Some good news there. We'll take a look at Futurecast and we'll check the forecast for the rest of the week. Just a few minutes.
All right, Paul, thank you so much. And tonight, Marin County is taking some early lessons learned from the Maui disaster to try to prevent a similar one here. Marin has countless narrow roads like this one that could quickly clog up or become blocked in an emergency. Fire Safe Marin is hosting a community meeting right now to talk about steps being taken to lower the risk and what residents can do to help themselves.
We really encourage our residents that know they're going to be a little slower in the evacuation process. They should probably leave during a warning and start to gather their stuff. Make sure that go bag's ready. Make sure they have those personal belongings.
Marin residents can sign up for emergency alerts at alertmarin.org. The Archdiocese of San Francisco has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This is in the face of more than 500 child sex abuse lawsuits. So in a video message on the diocese website, Archbishop Salvatore Corleone said the filing will allow them to develop a settlement plan with abuse survivors. Critics call it a ploy to keep information hidden. The Diocese of Oakland and Santa Rosa also filed for bankruptcy just this year. Meanwhile, a former student of San Francisco's St. Ignatius College Prep, is suing the school, alleging he was sexually abused by his drama teacher. The lawsuit claims the teacher forcibly kissed him, which deeply affected him. The school told the San Francisco Standard it immediately took action, and the teacher in question no longer works there. Still to come. A new option for borrowers drowning in student debt, why it could backfire right here in the Bay Area. Also, why a Bay Area lawmaker is pumping the brakes on plans to charge commuters even more at the toll booth.